Now, this is a long overdue video because I cannot tell you how many people have asked me this question. How do I get myself to do the boring shit? I don't want to do the boring shit. I hate doing the boring shit. I have so much of it to do. How do I get myself to do it? I just can't make myself do it. Help. So here I am, here to help because you are not the only one. We all have a lot of boring shit on our list that needs to get done. And you know who wants to do that stuff? Nobody. Nobody wants to do that stuff. And yet, we often have a lot of that stuff that needs doing. And so, I am here to share with you a number of different strategies. I think 8 strategies total about how to get yourself to do the boring shit, the shit you don't want to do, but that you have to do, right? I'm going to share with you a bunch of strategies, but I want you to know something really important. It is not about becoming a better, more disciplined person, right? A lot of this stuff, it's just about mental trickery, right? It's about how can we get ourselves to do it? What tricks can we use upon ourselves to get ourselves to do the things that we do not want to do or to get them done one way or another? And so I am here to answer your call and share with you a number of different strategies that you can use to help yourself get that boring shit done because let's just get it out of the way and get it done. Okay, so number one, strategy number one. Well, actually, before I even get there, I will tell you, this is not easy for me either. And this is why I have so many strategies. I have ADHD and doing the boring shit is the absolute hardest thing for me to do. And maybe that is why I have so many of these strategies to share with you. So, okay, without further ado, I am going to share with you these strategies. So, the first strategy, strategy number one, is to make it less boring, right? Now, how do you do that, right? How can we actually make the boring stuff less boring? Well, you can do a number of things, right? So, can you turn it into a game? Can you somehow turn whatever this thing is into a game? Maybe you need to answer a whole bunch of emails. Can you make it a race? How fast can you answer these emails? Can you get, them all done before the timer goes off? Whatever it is, right? Can you make it a little bit fun in that way? Can you pair it with something else? So sometimes we have to do some stuff and it's like stuff we can do with our bodies, right? So it's like folding the laundry or doing some chores. Nobody likes to do that stuff. Can you listen to a podcast, listen to, an audiobook, listen to music? Like, can you do it with something else, right? So that it's not so boring because you're not focusing on only that thing. I will say sometimes I have to be in boring meetings and I will often crochet while I'm in those meetings. This is part of the beauty of remote work, right? Is that nobody can see what I'm doing, right? It's just for me to know. So just like making it a game or a race, like, can you race against the clock? Can you turn it into some kind of fun game? So I guess race and game are the same thing in some ways. But lastly, could you give yourself a prize, right? Prizes are fun. So how can you make it less boring and more fun? Now, strategy number two. Make it easy to get started, right? Sometimes it's just the getting started bit. It's that task initiation bit that is so hard. And then once we're doing it, like it's not that hard to continue it, right? So, how can you make it a little bit easier to get started on the boring stuff? So, one of the things that you can do is turn it into low-hanging fruit. So, if it is a boring thing and feels like it's going to take a long time, can you break it down? What is the next clearest step? What is the teeny tiniest thing you could do to move this thing forward? And then do that again and again and again. Because you know what? Things that happen quickly and fast, these things are less boring and it's easier for us to do them, right? So just make it a little bit easier for yourself to get started. Now, another thing you can do, strategy number three, is to contain it, right? And this, you can do a couple of things. So, one of the things you can do is use a timer, right? You don't have to do the boring shit for a whole long while. You could just say, I'm going to do the boring shit for 15 minutes. In fact, I have some boring shit I need to do. And this is that I have about a year's worth of filing that really needs to be scanned. And it is so boring. It is so boring. And so I've just set a timer. I do it like 10 minutes a week. It's going to take a long time over time, but I can't bear more than 10 minutes a week. So I just set a timer for 10 minutes a week and I scan the stuff and it's fine, right? It's not my favorite thing to do, but I scan it and I get a little bit done at a time and it's fine. So I contained it, right? Another thing that you can do is say you have a bunch of boring shit that you need to do and you need to do it every week or every month, right? Can you dedicate a certain amount of time just like a block of time. Maybe it's a half an hour a week, maybe it's an hour every month, whatever it is. And that is just the time you're going to put all that stuff on that time. You're going to do it then, and you don't have to think about it the rest of the week or the rest of the month. Can you contain it in some way so it doesn't feel like it's always hanging over your head? You know that if the time to do that stuff is, Monday evenings, you don't have to think about it Tuesday through Sunday. You can contain it, right? Now, another way to think about this is not you doing it, but getting somebody else to do it. So there is a really big difference between wanting to do something and wanting it to be done, right? And a lot of the boring shit falls into this category of stuff you just want to be done, but you don't necessarily want to do it, right? So can you outsource this? Can you delegate this? Is there someone in your family who could do it that's not you? Can you outsource this? Can you pay someone to do it? Could AI do this thing for you, right? A lot of times, like we are living in a great technological age right now, right? Sometimes you can outsource the boring shit to AI. I had a friend who he had to categorize all of his expenses to give to his accountant. This supremely boring task, right? He just popped that spreadsheet right into ChatGPT and said, please categorize these with these categories. And boom, like 30 seconds later, it was done. He didn't have to do it. AI did it for him, right? Lots of ways that we could outsource or delegate, especially when we don't want to do it. We just want it to be done. Now, can we automate it in some way? That is strategy number 5. How can we automate doing this stuff? You might be thinking, automate, I'm not that tech savvy, I don't know. But there's a lot of easy ways to automate, like bill pay, automated bill pay. You have access to that. It's probably just a couple of clicks to get it set up and get it started. Paying bills, supremely boring. But if you have automated bill pay, not that boring anymore because you're not doing it anymore, right? There are also, you can use Zapier to connect different things to each other, to like data entry, this kind of thing, to do a bunch of boring shit. You can use tools like Zapier or other automation tools to set up automations for those things to happen. Now, there's a lot of things in my business that I have little automation set up for because it is so gosh darn boring to do, right? So for instance, like every time somebody signs up on my website for a consultation call with me, I need to have a task in my task system that reflects that, right? And I don't want to do that. That's boring. I just have a little Zapier thing set up. It's automated. It happens automatically. I don't worry about it. It's not something I have to do. No longer boring because I'm not doing it. Now, another strategy that you can use, strategy number 6, is to do it with a friend or a stranger, even, right? So maybe you have some boring stuff you need to do, and maybe you have a friend who also has some boring stuff they need to do. Invite that friend over, do your boring stuff together. You can chit chat while you're doing it. It'll make the time go so much faster. Or maybe that doesn't work out for you for whatever reason. Maybe you could use a tool like FocusMate to virtually body double with someone, right? So FocusMate is a tool. You can just go look it up. FocusMate is a service that allows you, and I think it's free 3 times a week, to get on a Zoom with a stranger who also has some stuff they need to do. And you just tell each other what it is you're going to do. Then you turn off your camera and your sound and you do that stuff. And then at the end, you get back on for accountability and you tell each other what you did. This works really well for a lot of people. That accountability is really important there, which leads us to the 7th strategy, which is accountability, right? If accountability is a strategy that works well for you, then use it. Tell somebody that you're going to do the thing and when you're going to do it by, and maybe they'll even text you and ask you if you did it. A lot of times we can get ourselves to do the thing by telling somebody else that we're going to do it. There are also apps for accountability and some apps that make us put our money on the line. There's an app called Stick. I think it's Stick. And this allows you to essentially put some money on the line if you don't do the thing, right? So you are indebted to yourself to do the thing. Otherwise, you're going to lose some money. So you just get yourself to do it, right? And then the last strategy here is just to use any other tool you have in your arsenal, right? So maybe you look back and you think, you know what? This has worked for me when I've had to do some boring shit in the past. Let me see if I can apply that tool to this situation, right? Double down on anything that has worked for you. So for me, there's a tool that I have in my arsenal that I will use sometimes for this. And this is my ADHD medication, right? I have ADHD and my doctor said it was okay for me to just take it when I needed it. So I don't take it every day. But that is something that I pull out when kind of nothing else will work, right? Now, I am not a doctor and this is not medical advice. And if you have medication that has been prescribed for you by your doctor, then you definitely should talk to them about how and when you take it. This is not me giving you medical advice at all. I'm just sharing this to say this is another tool that I have in my arsenal that I do use sometimes. So if you have tools in your arsenal, use them, whatever they are, under your doctor's orders, of course, if it happens to be medication. Now, do you have strategies that work for you that I haven't shared here to get the boring shit done? Don't gatekeep them. I want to know these strategies. Please tell me these strategies. So drop a comment below if you have a strategy that works for you. Share them with me, share them with everyone else. We all need these strategies because nobody likes to do the boring shit. But we all have to get it done. Now, if you want more videos like this, or if you like this video, give it a like. Make sure to subscribe so that you can keep getting this stuff in your feed every single week.
Hi, video editor here. Just like she said, make sure to subscribe because we post every week. And if you watch our videos, just leave a like and subscribe to let us know that you like what we're posting and comment or dislike if you don't like what we're doing. Thank you.